The question is when is gold and silver going to really start outperforming these stock portfolios? And I think that's going to be this year. I mean, the bottom in terms of silver already came in September 2022. It's been edging up since then. And gold relative to the S&P has been stuck in a trading range for 9 years. But if you look at a chart of these ratios, when it starts to move fast. And then I think it was from 2000 to 2011, right? I forgot the numbers. I was looking at the chart today, but gold severely outperformed stocks, right?
Right.
Even though stocks were going much higher pretty fast.
The World Gold Council forecasts a range-bound year for bullion. If the economy performs according to consensus in 2025, gold may continue to trade within a similar range to that seen in the latter part of this year, with some upside potential, the WGC stated in its Outlook 2025 report. Stocks have generally performed better than gold over the years, but there can be exceptions. Looking back 20 years, for example, gold has outperformed the S&P 500. The price of gold and the S&P 500 have had strong first halves of 2024, and they're up roughly the same amount, 17 to 18%. Endgame investor Rafi Farber pointed out that significant outperformance of gold and silver over stocks could soon become apparent. Additionally, Farber noted gold's 9-year range relative to the S&P 500, predicting a sharp shift when the ratio finally breaks. Reflecting on historical trends, Farber mentions the period from 2000 to 2011, when gold outperformed stocks by a substantial margin. Last year was a big outing for gold bulls, as the metal gained 27.23% in spot, with a maximum gain of 40.61% from the February low to the October high. Over the long run, however, both stocks and bonds have outperformed the average price increase in gold. Nevertheless, over certain shorter time spans, gold may come out ahead. In his market outlook, Farber predicts another dollar panic within 2 quarters could drive investors to gold and silver as stock portfolios lose value and purchasing power. The relationship between gold and the US dollar has also been shaped by the gold standard, a system that tied the dollar's value to gold until the 1970s. Plus, gold continues to be seen as a safe haven asset in times of economic uncertainty, so gold becomes more appealing when the dollar weakens. In the first quarter of 2015, the US dollar share was still 66%. Over these 10 years, the dollar's share of global reserve currencies has dropped by 8.6 percentage points. If this decline continues, the dollar's share will fall below 50% in less than 10 years by the end of 2034. Now we present the clips of Rafi Farber's insights from his recent interview. Before we continue to discuss this, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
It's exciting in the sense that gold is at or near all-time highs, silver not. But in rather than focus on the dollar amount, I think the real question is like how are gold and silver going to perform relative to stocks, relative to the things that people have in their portfolios? Because really, no one's going to care what the price of gold and silver are if their stock portfolio keeps going up even faster than gold and silver do. Why would you need gold and silver if your net value keeps rising and rising, and the number that you see when you log into your brokerage account on Interactive Brokers or TD Ameritrade or whatever, the number keeps going higher, so you're
Right.
fine. You don't need anything. The question is when is gold and silver going to really start outperforming these stock portfolios? And I think that's going to be this year. I mean, the bottom in terms of silver already came in September 2022. It's been edging up since then. And gold relative to the S&P has been stuck in a trading range for 9 years. But if you look at a chart of these ratios, when it starts to move fast. And then I think it was from 2000 to 2011, right? I forgot the numbers. I was looking at the chart today, but gold severely outperformed stocks, right?
Right.
Even though stocks were going much higher pretty fast. Gold was outpacing them. I think gold went up by a factor of 8 or 9 times. So that's when it still, even though gold is at relatively near all-time highs, most people don't own any. And most people aren't going to own any until they already realize that it's too late, that their stock portfolios aren't worth, they're not going to buy them anything, and they can't really cash out for anything that's worth any real asset. So they'll all
Absolutely.
pile into gold and silver at the same time. And that's what we don't want to do. So. Um, I think it's going to happen this year after the next dollar panic. I think within the next quarter or two. If the dollar does collapse, and it will, once
Mhm.
that happens, then who's they? What power are they going to do anything? Because they're a big power is the fact that they can control the dollar and they can take dollars and buy things and buy guns and buy tanks and buy thugs to enforce the law. But
Yeah.
once none of that works, they've got nothing. I mean, they have whatever they have, but so does everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be pretty. They're not going to be able to enforce anything. So then at that point, everything goes back to it's a reset, but it's a reset on the public's terms. And then you just got to hope that the public has enough sense to it, and enough local leaders that we don't descend into chaos. And I think, especially with, I've seen humanity go from completely insane to slowly coming out of a stupor, especially from 2021 to now. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that everyone's normal now, but I think people are a lot more normal than they were 4 years ago. And I think we're going in the right direction. I just hope that by the time the dollar does collapse, there's enough sanity in the world to so that we all kind of huddle together and say, look, we got a big thing problem here. We got to deal with this level-headed and coolly, and hopefully that's what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have any power to institute a crypto system, which would just be another layer in a pyramid that already collapsed.
Fluctuations significantly influence silver prices in the US dollar, interest rates, and industrial demand. Financial expert Rafi Farber dismisses concerns about manipulation in gold and silver markets, emphasizing that true commodity suppression manifests as shortages. He contends that silver's monetary value is deliberately kept low to sustain the dollar, predicting its authentic worth will surface when it collapses, leading to a dramatic price reset and eventual stabilization under a gold and silver-backed monetary system. According to the World Silver Survey 2024, silver has shown an upward trend driven by growing industrial demand, especially in sectors related to the energy transition, such as solar panels and electric vehicles. These sectors have increased their consumption of silver, creating positive pressure on its price. Although the report does not specify an exact figure, the combination of sustained demand and limited supply suggests that the price of silver could maintain an elevated trajectory in the medium and long term. This scenario highlights the prospects for stability and strength in the silver market as technological and investment uses of the metal increase. Let's get back to the interview.
Well, yeah, there's manipulation, but I don't really care about it so much. It doesn't really bother me.
Right.
The reason I'm saying that is, look, if there's manipulation, let's say in tomatoes, right, then you would see if the price of tomatoes is being held down, then what you would see is a shortage of tomatoes at the grocery store. You wouldn't be able to buy tomatoes because the price is too low, and then people buy more than is available, and the number of buyers don't equal the number of sellers, and then you have a tomato shortage. You can see that when they have even a sale on tomatoes. Like tomatoes are like whatever, 50 cents a pound today, and then and there's a limit to like 5 pounds per customer, but that means a shortage. So with any commodity that they try to hold the price down, it's very obvious what they're doing because you see a shortage. But why isn't that the same? There's no shortage in gold or silver. If you want to buy gold, you can do it. If you want to buy silver, you just call up a retail and buy it. You can go to a coin shop, you can buy it. There's no shortage of gold and silver. But that's because the gold and silver are money. There's a money price and there's a commodity price, right?
Right.
The tomatoes, you can do one thing with them. You can eat them. With silver you can either consume it, like put it in a solar panel or whatever consumes silver, even if it's not really consuming. Let's just call it consumption. You're using it in some other thing. There's also the monetary price. There's the monetary price, and that's what's being manipulated. The monetary price is assume the dollar doesn't work, assume all currencies are dead, and everybody needs silver to survive because they need some kind of money to divide labor with, right? So then everybody needs silver all at the same time. What is the exchange rate for that? That's
Right.
what's being manipulated. But that manipulation all goes at once when the dollar finally does die. And so, yeah, it's being manipulated. Why? Because the dollar exists. The dollar is the manipulation. The futures market is the mechanism by which they keep the dollar alive by keeping the dollar exchange rate with silver monetarily at the commodity consumption level, right? The silver price that you see is the price of silver as a commodity. At that price of $30 an ounce, there's enough silver for all the industry for people who use silver. But
Absolutely.
what's the monetary price if everybody needs a coin?
Yeah.
That we don't know.
Could
But
be a
that's
hundred
what
bucks, could
that's
be
that's what
200.
has to be revealed. It could be $1,000 at this point.
Yeah.
I think that the the sudden realization that everybody needs silver when the dollar no longer functions,
Right.
that demand by everybody, by the entire planet, is much bigger than the solar panel industry. And I think the end game is going to happen way before everybody adopts solar panels on their roof to a point that would push silver significantly higher just because of that. I don't know
Right.
what the dynamics are per solar panel and how much silver you're going to need. There's going to be a shortage problem, but even before we hit any of that, we're going to hit the end game, and we're going to see the dollar silver exchange rate go to a number that would cover everyone's demand for silver when their currencies no longer function. And then after that, once silver calms down again and we rebuild another monetary system based on gold and silver, then we can start worrying about solar panels and what they're going to do to the silver price.
Investing Haven's prediction for gold in 2025 is approximately $3,100, reflecting a more bullish outlook than other institutions. Will the ongoing erosion of fiat currencies and the stock market's collapse accelerate a return to gold and silver-backed systems, reshaping the global financial order? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the following video.